what it was. Y'all know who it is, and y'all tuned in with Priceless Knowledge Yourself, and I figured I'd hit y'all with a little cosmic insight for the day. And say, man, it's Thursday, and so what we gonna do is dive back into this Pluto series. And in doing so, we're gonna discuss a little bit of the deep, dark truth, y'all. Yeah, we might even ask some of y'all, who do y'all believe in? What do you believe in? What's your truth, and how have you achieved it, if you have? And so that's going to make this right here, that's going to make this a little something about those people that have Pluto in the 9th house of their natal chart. And before I even go there, even though I know it works y'all's nerves, you already know what I'm going to have to do first. I'm going to bring y'all a little information on Pluto in astrology. Then I'm going to bring y'all a little bit about the 9th house in astrology. And so, let's get it cracking. So, in astrology, Pluto rules over the 8th house of the zodiac chart in the sign of Scorpio. And it's really what I like to call the great revealer. And wherever Pluto shows up in your chart, there's very often a very dark night before the dawn, man. Pluto's about power, magnetism, depth, death, sex, transformation, rebirth, and intensity. Pluto resides in the primordial ooze of your character, man. It brings mind-purging regeneration by releasing buried power from core truths. Pluto, for me, is the planet of creative destruction. That's because Pluto shows the areas of your life that you'll personally face the intense power of creation through destruction. Yeah. It's the vessel through which little compressed pockets of magic, spirit, and primal energy kind of lie in wait to be activated by, self-provocation or outside traumatic events. Yeah, it's deep. And it's really because of that Pluto's as feared as it is. And, it really puts you in a showdown between your greatest fears of being destroyed and the pursuits of whatever your heart longs for the most. The pursuits of your obsessions, your desires, your compulsions, because Pluto's about that too. It really is. And the thing is, even if your ego tries to hold on to its defenses, when Pluto comes through trying to bring transformation, it's going to force you to let go and surrender. Pluto is powerful, but it's going to show you how to find your power. Sexy, ain't it? So, the ninth house for me is all about philosophy. It's ruled by Jupiter, and the search for meaning kind of takes precedence here. And it really boils down to understanding what we see and feel by virtue of exploring new experiences. Yeah, it's about higher education, psychology, and theology, and all things involved with our voyage of discovery. For me, the 9th is the house of our spirituality too. This is where God lives, or at least where we find something much more greater than ourselves. You understand? Which can also include the laws or the systems that govern our society. Not so much as our political systems, which is kind of Saturn's domain, but universal principles that should be inherently understood. You get what I mean? The 9th house is also all about foreign culture and long distance travel. Pastors, professors, psychologists, astrologers, psychics, philosophers, they're all coming under the 9th house umbrella. These are 9th house people. Additionally, the 9th house is about publishing, import and export businesses, and it really takes on a multi-generational view on both grandparents and the in-laws and relationships with them. The 9th house is your beliefs. The 9th house is your search for truth. Understand? And so, I also want to say that the 9th is ruled by the sign of Sagittarius. And so, when you have Pluto in the 9th house of your natal chart, from Jump Street, what you need to know about those with this placement is that when it comes to the abstract mind, they're some of the most powerful thinkers that there are. They love to question what people claim to be truth. And, this is because there's an intensely powerful magnetism calling them to find their own truth, which will, probably lead them to going through countless tumultuous experiences that constantly changes and evolves their belief system throughout this existence. Pluto brings change through trial by fire. And so it's right here that, because of whatever you're going through, your belief system is always evolving. It's always changing. And, with Pluto being here, it says that if they can just weather the storm of the dark Plutonian shit that they go through, that's going to rock their belief systems and probably even push them into foreign places and experiences that really make them question, what the fuck is really going on in this universe, then, they'll be able to find their truth, which provokes transformation that'll ultimately really bring them into their personal power. That's what Pluto's trying to do. It's trying to transform you into your most powerful form. That doesn't never necessarily mean your highest form, though. And people get that twisted sometimes. So you just got to remember that whatever is putting you through for a reason. Just kind of like Saturn, but a little bit worse. Because Pluto's a little more severe, whether people realize it or not. Saturn is strict, but hey, man. Pluto gonna serve it to you cold, baby. For real. Moving on, though. These motherfuckers are extremely intelligent people who, they're deeply powerful thinkers. And, they can get overly attached or even obsessed with their own particular set of views. And, that's a whole nother can of worms right there, too, in itself. At the same time, if they have some strong aspects to this placement, it can make a person a very magnetic and charismatic, religious, philosophical, or a motivational speaker or something like that. Man, especially with the closer that it's placed to the 10th house cusp, it's going to make them a bad motherfucker in the way that they handle their shit. So there's a little hint and news you can use with that right there. But I can also confidently, say that the expansive nature of Jupiter that rules the ninth, it really blows shit up and makes Pluto strong here for real. Like, a lot of people are looking at the first, the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th, but hey, man, Pluto in the ninth is about sorcery, maybe. But for real, though, another thing of note is that, having Pluto in the ninth is somewhat similar to having Scorpio on the ninth house cusp, but Pluto in the ninth is going to be much more intense in a way. Anyways, ninth house Pluto folks, they have a probing mind that's insatiably curious about how the world truly works in depth. And the mere thought of diving all the way down into that motherfucking rabbit hole and shit, it probably turns them the fuck on, man. Like, it probably turns them the fuck on, man. So, moving on, as I was saying earlier, having Pluto placed here in the natal chart, it tells me that you're going to experience a lot of fucked up shit that's going to put your belief system through countless deep transformations and epiphanies in order to help you obtain the power that comes from developing your own core truth. So just understand that whatever Pluto's putting you through is to develop your own core truth. Yeah. And another thing I've seen is that these people have an uncanny ability to spot out false prophets and motherfuckers who don't even believe their own bullshit. And for real, having Pluto in the ninth gives them a sensitivity to weaknesses and inconsistencies in the belief systems of other motherfuckers that they're engaged with, which only provokes the great revealer to want to expose that fraudulence in a big fucking way with Jupiter here. And so I say that there'll probably be a lot of conflicts and power struggles with teachers, professors, pastors, mentors, advisors, and gurus, just for the simple fact that what can you tell a motherfucker that knows everything? Absolutely nothing. That's what. Not a goddamn thing. And that's pretty much what the fuck it is, because the ninth really wants you to learn from experience more than anything else. And Pluto, it ain't finna bring it to you warm, man.
So these motherfuckers, they ain't the ones that typically to have to learn from what motherfuckers done told them. Pluto in the ninth says, you learn the hard way. And the great thing about it, the double-edged sword there is that, yeah, it's going to suck to learn the hard way, but the power you achieve from the experience is pretty intense. And on a different level, these folks are deeply interested to and, interested in and drawn to foreign cultures, religious views and philosophies from places that they've never dealt with. Like, they usually don't believe the same shit that their family grew up believing. They kind of grew up knowing that whatever that shit is superficial. That the truth is really well beyond that and much deeper. And it might not even be that serious. Might not even be that serious. They might even be really turned on and obsessed with people from different cultures or different countries, and or they might even be keenly interested in the occult or the philosophies on life after death of places and people of a foreign nature. It really could play out a whole bunch of different ways depending on the aspects that are there with Pluto. Look, man, to sum it up, Pluto here could easily make a motherfucker a cult leader if they don't culture it properly. And on the other end of that, they could be the motherfucker that could fall too far under the influence of fanatical religious views and bigotry and even end up being manipulated their motherfucking self. So Pluto in the ninth, man, you're just gonna have a real power struggle that's centered around your belief systems. And my advice for y'all with Pluto here in the ninth is just to be very fucking mindful of that tendency to try to impose your beliefs on other motherfuckers. Cause contrary to your belief, you don't know shit. Matter of fact, none of us know shit. And anybody that tries to honestly claim that we do, they need to get the fuck away from you. Because the ways of heaven are not to be known to the mind of man. You have to understand that. So, nobody really knows what the fuck is going on, man. We're all making educated guesses. So, just remember that, man. And it's okay if people disagree with your beliefs, man. Because a lot of the times you might be sticking to some shit that you really don't have all the information behind it, or you done took some conspiracy theory and ran with it, or somebody done told you some shit that struck a nerve, and so now you out there preaching it without knowing the substance behind it. And that ain't what's up. So that's just a little something you got to deal with. Hey man, I appreciate all the love and support. Remember that no matter where Pluto is, just because you built like that, it don't mean you have to build like that. You can leave that negative shit alone. You ain't got to feed into that shit at all. Understand? And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And this has been some priceless knowledge of self. Pardon me. If y'all are interested in the astrological readings whatsoever, you can either hit me up in the comments below or email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Hey, man, like, share, and subscribe this motherfucker, man. If y'all fuck with me, man, hit that like button, man. If you want to see somebody get some help from me, man, if you believe you know somebody that might can find some self-knowledge in the shit that I speak about, man, shoot in my direction. Share this motherfucker. Go join my Facebook group, Priceless Knowledge of Self. Hey, man, y'all keep it real. Here in a little bit, I'm going to be back with a little something about those people that have Pluto in the 5th house of the natal chart. Yeah, so, holla.